Hi, my name is Becca McPherson, and I chose to do my art talk presentation on the Notre Dame Cathedral, which is also known as Notre Dame de Paris. The reason I kind of chose this, it caught my interest because one of my favorite movies growing up was The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I loved, although it was a small part of our study this week, I loved learning more about it and actually the realistic views that were portrayed in that movie. As the graphic artist did a lot of the same, um, they just portrayed it really well. The towers, the different gargoyles, the just construction of the windows, and how all of that lacy the buttresses that were just there. It really took place. So I love seeing that in the movie. And when we were reading about it this week, I was so excited to kind of just see the differences and the similarities that were portrayed by the artists in the movie. Um, the depiction of the Notre Dame Cathedral in the movie was much darker than reality of the beauty of it as looking at other realistic pictures. In this picture, we just see a beautiful kind of just romantic building that is just full of life, and there's just different aspects of the building that allow it to be viewed as a piece of art. And I love the water behind it, the bridges that were around, the greenery, everything around the building makes it look so majestic and like fairy tale like almost. So I love that. Every aspect of his architecture was well planned out. Like the towers, the different things that were in the towers, everything had a proportion. It was thought out. The towers held bells in it. Um, the windows, the different circular trusses, the gargoyles were all just pristine and amazing. The heights, you could see all the different architectures and the architects that worked on this building because of the different heights of the towers and all the different pieces throughout the time that it was built. This cathedral is located in Paris, France, and it is one of the most well-known visited cathedrals or pieces of architecture today. One of the most famous buildings in the history of architecture, and it's the most visited building today in France, even beating out the Eiffel Tower as that main attraction, I guess you would say. It began building in 1163 and it finished in 1250. But during the time of 1225 to 1250, there was major modifications that were made because of the different early and later Gothic style of architecture. It was the first large-scale cathedral that was built. Therefore, so many cathedrals around or pieces of architecture around that time were modeled after the Notre Dame Cathedral. The creator of this architecture is unknown because it took so long to build. It took almost over a century to build. It was initially built for Maurice de Sully, which was the new bishop that was appointed, but it was not even completed until after he had already passed away. So although it was built by many architects, we see the different styles, like I said earlier, with the different heights, the different window architecture, the different pillars, the gargoyle styles, staircases that were in spiral forms. And during the World War II and the French Revolution, there was a destruction that took place on this beautiful building. So after that, the reconstruction after the destruction was led by architect Eugene Emmanuel Viollet-le-Duc, and he took over that and made different things. The building is decorated by many gargoyles, and gargoyles are another unique thing that I kind of wanted to learn more about this week in our reading. Although it is still that small piece of information, gargoyles have a lot of different functions in the Gothic times or the Gothic era. They would actually lead rainwater off of the roofs and away from the building so that it would not destruct the stone and it wouldn't corrode the stone and make it like fall apart or lose its firmness at all. And then also in the spiritual function of it, it was believed that it would make evil flee away from the church or the cathedral. So any evil spirits or anything would be deterred from the gargoyles. So I included a nice picture of the gargoyles from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Quasimodo's there down because of his master, and the gargoyles are there just being company for him. I just love that they're so unique. They have so many different aspects of being able to move that water away, and I just love everything that went about it. The decoration of the cathedral was, as it was, the common vocabulary of sermons, folk wisdom, and school learning fleshed out in stone. So these buildings had a story to tell. Everything about them was unique, and it was just a really cool way to focus on a great piece of art this week. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I'll see you next time.